hip hop is classic now. I'm going with it. I'm grabbing it. I'm running with it, and I believe in it. And I'm going to be supportive of other artists and entrepreneurs as they try to make their moves as well. I'm trying to build something that people can appreciate.
LL Cool J is an icon and true GOAT in hip-hop culture. He even coined the term with one of his albums. But now the successful rapper, producer, actor, and author is bringing the classic hip-hop culture he loves back to the forefront as founder and CEO of his company, Rock the Bells. Rock the Bells is a multi-platform brand. It's got e-commerce, it's got digital radio, it's got content. Why did you want to start a platform like that?
I felt like what was missing and the problem was that you have fans of Run DMC, fans of Public Enemy, fans of LL Cool J, fans of the Beastie Boys, fans of Eric B. and Rakim and Big Daddy Kane and Gang Starr and DJ Premier. And they didn't have any place where they could actually immerse themselves in the culture in a real serious way, where they could read about the artist, celebrate the artist, enjoy the artist in their perspective today, see the world through a modern lens today, be able to buy items and products that relate to the culture that they love and the culture that they've always lived. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this. We started off with the station on Sirius XM channel 43. It was like, you know what? Why not transition and create a platform as well and expand this offering? So we are gonna continue to iterate. We're gonna continue to improve it. It's something that's needed. And at the same time, it celebrates and will make sure that we preserve the legacy of these artists moving forward. And we're getting the narrative right?
Yeah, it's interesting you said narrative there because you've mentioned that storytelling is a huge part of Rock the Bells as a brand. Why do you think storytelling is important, particularly when it comes to a culture like hip hop?
Because that's what hip hop has always been about, right? Like, one of the prerequisites to being great in hip hop is your ability to tell stories. And hip hop from the beginning has been about, the struggle, about the scales of justice and balancing those. It's been about coming from the bottom and making yourself successful. And all of those things require storytelling. For people to understand that journey and to understand that struggle, there has to be storytelling. The whole thing about this deal is about supporting the culture, for the culture, by the culture. It's about making sure also that these classic artists from all four elements, right? Whether they're DJs, whether they're MCs, whether they're into the street art or graffiti, whether they're into the dance, that they have ownership and equity in this company. This wasn't like just a pure money play for me. It was more about getting it right and doing something from the heart and solving a real problem that I think exists. And that problem is the representation of classic and timeless hip hop in the mainstream and in the world. So I've really tried to make sure that these people have equity, they have a stake in it, and I really want to do something great for the culture.
You've had such a long career, longevity within your career too. I'm interested actually, like how do you kind of approach, this venture as like a CEO and a founder, maybe differently or similarly to how you might approach like producing music?
Well, it's a huge difference, right? As a CEO, I have to really think about my team. When I want to do something for LL as an artist, I know in my mind, my reasoning and my justification and my rationale and my objective and my agenda, and I go do my thing. You have a team, you have to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So there's that. It's all the moving pieces. It's me approaching it with humility, not being an arrogant guy who thinks that because he has some success in one area, it automatically translates, because there is a learning curve there. So it's me trying to make sure that I bring people in that are smarter than I am. You know what I'm saying? And really focusing on that. People that have mastered their crafts in a different way and just trying to make good decisions in that way.
Hip hop as well has always been, incredibly vocal from the start about things like, about systemic racism, about police brutality. You've had songs on the issue. How do you think that, the hip hop of like the 80s and the 90s have kind of informed or inspired the civil rights movement that we're seeing like right now?
I mean, everything in classic hip hop culture, it has always spoke to these issues, whether it spoke to it in a harsh manner or a subtle manner, whether it was a hatchet, a sledgehammer, or a scalpel. These issues have always been addressed in hip hop culture, and we take it head on. When we talk about Black Lives Matter, and we talk about injustice, and we talk about what needs to happen to make this world better. We're looking at voting initiatives and really thinking about that and taking that very seriously. We have a responsibility to also uplift the community in that way as well. Rock the Bells is definitely a company that people can count on if they want to touch the culture in a real serious way. And if they want to access the culture in a way that makes a difference, Rock the Bells is the type of company that you want to be partners with.